So, how are you?
Great.
Am I supposed to ask questions? Because you guys seem to be like a stump. Oh, Marvel Now.
Now.
Yeah, what about it? It's pretty cool.
Yeah. Can you tell us, in case people don't know what it is?
It's very, very simple. A large number of our books are being relaunched with number ones, not rebooted, but relaunched. Right. It's a great jumping on point if you've never been a fan of comic books, or if you're a lapsed fan and you're thinking about getting in. And we hear from a lot of lapsed fans and a lot of neophytes who basically say we want to get into comic books, but we walk into a comic shop and we just don't know where to start. It's so daunting. There's so much continuity, so much backstory. This is a great jumping on point for those fans in particular. For hardcore Marvel fans, it's a fresh beginning. We've got new creators coming on. We're doing some switching around, new looks for the characters, new status quos, a lot of new stuff happening that's going to be bubbling into other bigger things that are down the road, of course, because that's what we do.
Yeah, it's a big sort of mashup time, both on the creator side and on the character side. What's sort of staying the same in the Marvel universe?
Nothing stays the same. But by the way, that's basically true all the time with us. At the end of the day, if you don't shake up the status quo in these books and with these characters, and I don't mean like shake it up to the point where they're unrecognizable, but shake it up so that there is some drama and some tension in these books, fans are just going to stop reading. Regardless of the sort of internet flack you get, because every time you do change something in comic books, you do get the flack from people that want the status quo or believe they want the status quo to stay the same.
Exactly.
But the minute that status quo remains the same is when you start seeing sales deteriorate on books and the loss of interest from fans.
What's the thing you're most excited about this new mashup?
I think all of it. Secret Avengers is a pretty outstanding book, and that's really, really cool. There's some bigger announcements that we're doing at this con tomorrow that'll be exposing sort of another aspect of the Marvel Universe that we're really going to be focusing on. Probably the cosmic universe, I think, is really what we're going to be talking about.
Interesting. That's space.
That's space in the Marvel Universe.
Yeah. It's all capitals as well.
No.
Space! Think about it. Think about it as maybe...
I'll talk to the marketing guys.
Please.
We'll see how that works out.
Give me a meeting if possible.
So we're going to be focusing on a lot of new areas of the Marvel Universe. There's a lot of cool stuff going on. Very little that I could talk about without revealing announcements that we'll be giving out tomorrow, and stuff that's going to be happening in our books when the books launch.
I would like to congratulate you. Marvel Avengers versus X-Men was amazing, fantastic ending.
Right.
Sometimes with big kind of events, you worry, because there's that thing of things are going to change, and you're like, oh God, please don't ruin the things that I love.
Right.
But such amazing choices made, and seeing Cyclops, with the cuffs on, and it's so powerful and so cool.
Oh, cool. Well, listen, I'd love to take full credit for it, but I can't. Credit really goes out to the incredible writers and artists who work on the book.
Sure.
Axel Alonso, who's our new editor-in-chief. There was a lot of hard work that went into those books, and I was in those meetings, but I was really just an obstruction at the end of the day.
Come on.
I was just reading. No, I hate that. Yeah. And they went against everything I did, and it worked out beautifully. So
since Axel took over, what is your day like? Because you're still involved in a lot of it, but for me, it's sort of mysterious actually what it is you do on a day-to-day basis.
It's mysterious.
Maybe for you as well. Yeah.
No, actually, I spend a lot of time on the road. I literally split my time between New York and Los Angeles.
Cool.
When I'm in New York, I'm working with publishing, coming up with ideas. We're always brainstorming on stuff. What I'm not doing in publishing is that I'm not involved in the day-to-day breaking down of individual storylines for individual books. I'm called in for the bigger things when we have the big summits and just sort of the think tank high concept stuff. Then when I'm in LA, I'm working in animation, working in TV, wink, and also working with our studios on the movies and other assorted secret projects that we have going on.
Secret projects?
Secret projects, yes. We have a lot of stuff that's very secretive that we haven't announced yet, but that is also the Marvel way. So I'm involved in just about everything, and it's a matter of what coast I'm in that particular day. I wear many, many hats. And the other thing that I do that I feel I'm really instrumental in is making sure that all branches of Marvel, the creative branches, know what's going on in other branches. So there's a lot of synergy that we're trying to make happen. In particular, as we talk about this cosmic stuff that we'll be talking about tomorrow.
Space,
yes. You guys know that we announced a Guardians of the Galaxy movie.
Yes.
So there's stuff that I know that's going on with the movie that we might be able to apply to the Marvel Cosmic Universe, and try to develop that synergy, not to copy one from the other, but just so tonally we're sort of on the same page. I do a lot of that as well.
Yeah. So you're sort of making sure that the Hollywood side, all that sort of speaks for the comic fans, and that the comic fans are also being refilled, but getting more and more fans in there from the Hollywood.
Exactly, and it goes the other way as well. We're doing a lot of interesting stuff in cosmic right now in the Marvel Universe. We've been having a lot of great discussions creatively about what we may want to do with some of those characters and some of those storylines. And some of that stuff is, I then go out to the West Coast and we talk about what's happening in publishing, because the beauty of the Marvel movies is that they take the best of the best. They sort of cherry pick things from the universe that make those particular movies work. So obviously they'll be taking some of the stuff we're doing in publishing and applying it to the movies as well.
Yeah, I think that's definitely one of the big successes is when you go see a Marvel movie, you're going to love it. You're going to really see the things you love from the comics on the screen. Well, I think so far you look at any of them and it's successful.
Yeah, well, look, I mean, that's also because guys like Kevin Feige out in the studios, they have a reverence for the comic books and for comic book history, and they read everything that we do, right? So they sit there and they say, okay, we're making a Captain America movie. There's a little bit of Ultimates, there's a little bit of classic Cap, there's a little bit of 1940s Cap. They pull from all these great sources, and because we have a ton of content. Now, of course, the alchemy here, the black magic, is making sure that you pick all the right elements and how do you tie them into one cohesive sort of cinematic universe.
And also doing it in a way where the person who might not know what's going on isn't going to be like, hey, I don't get the joke. You know?
Well, listen, we have tons of conversations in the Marvel Creative Committee where, as we read these screenplays, every once in a while a question will come up and say, is this particular change to the character a bridge too far for Marvel fans? It's a very important question that we always ask. And every once in a while, there's some place where we're like, no, that's a change that doesn't feel right, doesn't feel like something our fans are going to accept, doesn't feel like something that's true to the character, and then we just jettison it and we go on to the next thing. Because ultimately, our feeling is that, while yes, these movies are meant to appeal to the wider audience and people that maybe know nothing about these characters, ultimately we feel that our fan base is really the inroad towards that. If our fan base rejects it, then our feeling is that the rest of the world is going to reject it as well. So we have to start there, and we do approach these things with a certain reverence to the history of the characters and the stories that came before.
What was your favorite comic book sort of reference or move in the Avengers movie?
Man, there were a lot.
There were so many, and I imagine you guys probably got to see pretty early, and we're sort of tweaking those.
Yeah, there are wonderful, wonderful moments, obviously, in the movie. I mean, just the first one that comes to mind is just when Cap turns to Hulk and goes, Hulk, smash. It was so subtle, right?
I know.
And comic book fans and you always go, woo!
Crazy.
Right, and everybody gets a little giddy, and for the regular, movie watching audience who knows nothing about it, it's like, oh, that's kind of cool. Cap told Hulk to go smash. But there's subtle things like that, and that, again, that's the beauty of having a director and a writer like Joss, who knows our world, knows our continuity, and understands the exact same thing that we do. If our fans don't accept it, then the movie's going to be a failure.
You talk a lot about the different, on either coast. How is it different, working with more movie-type people as opposed to comic book people?
There's really no difference at all. Yeah. The biggest difference is the amount of pressure. Because, in comic books, if you put out a comic book that fails, well, you're out thousands of dollars. If you put out a movie that fails, well, you're out millions of dollars. So the pressure to get it right is that much more intense, and really, it weighs heavily on everybody because you've got that one shot. You don't want to blow it. It's not like you come out with a movie every month. With the comic book, again, if you blow it, okay, we'll fix it next month.
Yeah.
With the movie, if you blow it, you may destroy a franchise completely.
Right.
So we take it very, very seriously. It's a much, it's a bigger, price point on that baby. So that's probably the biggest difference, and how much intense focus and scrutiny gets paid to every little second, every little bit of minutia to each one of these movies. It's very intense.
So what's your favorite thing that you've been working on that's going to be coming out?
Oh, that happens to be actually one of the things I can't talk about. Okay. We will probably be able to talk about it in the next couple of months. Okay. But there's a project that I'm very, very involved with. That's one of my favorite things. I'll give you this as a hint, it happens in the West Coast. I have to go out to the West Coast to be involved in this project. Okay. So it's and there's been rumors about it. Little things have leaked here and there, but there's been no official announcement. So I don't want to be the person that gets the call from somebody at Disney going, "Hey!"
Long haze when there's trouble coming.
Yeah, I've never gotten when you get the call from Mickey.
I've never gotten one of those calls from Disney or from Marvel. So I want to keep it that way.
Yeah.